Hey there, it's me again, Disha Rosetta, and I just wanted to share, or actually ask a question before I share. How many people have ever recognized the amount of time that it's been since they have been in an actual, real relationship, the kind that they really want to be in? Wait, I'll wait, yeah. I don't mean situationships. I don't mean Netflix and chill ships. I don't mean ships of convenience. I mean the true type of relationship connection that you've been looking for, desiring. So, I asked this because a couple of days ago, I recognized that it had been 16 years 16 years since I've been in the real kind of relationship that I wanted to be in. 16 years. Now, I've dated, I've had situationships, I have even, well, we're not going to go into all of that, but needless to say that I have been in spaces where I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, but I thought that I knew what I was doing. But I was keeping myself small in a way. And what I'm speaking of or thinking about specifically is a situationship where I actually ended up, or we actually, I should say, ended up creating life on more than one occasion, life that did not sustain outside of the physical realm. But even with that, I recognize that it's been 16 years. That's a long fucking time. I'm 41. I recognize that the last time was when I was 25. My last engagement, I say my last engagement because I've been engaged 3 times, never married. Engaged 3 times, never married. And this particular situation that caused a traumatic response within myself was one where after it ended, he came over uninvited after he had stolen my Yahoo password and impersonated me on Yahoo Messenger with one of my guy friends and asking for sex, which my guy friend did not respond to. My guy friend actually called me and left me a message that I didn't get until the next day. And when I got it, when I first listened to it, I didn't understand, and then I understood because of what my ex had done. He had come over, called me a trifling ass bitch. He spat on me. And at this time, Flavor of Love was on. So when I would tell the story, I would say, he spat at me, spat on me, Flavor of Love style, like, yeah, like that loogie, nasty shit. And then when I asked him to leave and I started to close the door, he actually pushed the door in on my face so that it like hit my forehead. And at that point, like, I turned into a feral cat. And it was like every Lifetime movie that I had seen was like flashing through my head, and I was like, oh hell no, I'm not letting him push me back into this apartment. If anything, I'm going to get out of my apartment, make noise so that my neighbors can hear. And yeah. And that was when I was 25, 16 years ago. And there'll be times where that will come back to my mind. I'm like, yeah, that was pretty traumatic, but never really understanding the depth of what that situation did. He was what I called mild-mannered. He was the nice guy, and the nice guy turned into the motherfucking Hulk. And from that point, and before that, I did not necessarily date nice guys. Like, I was with drug dealers, I was with you know, not always drug dealers, but like military guys that were kind of rough or gruff. So I wasn't always with like, you know, this nice, mild-mannered guy that worked for a bank, and, you know, that was not like the person that I was with, but that's who this person was. So I realized that something shifted in my head, that like if this guy could turn out like this, then I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Granted, the drug dealers and military guys, like, they never laid a hand on me. They never did anything to, I mean, they had their own issues. We had our issues. Like, let me not try to make it seem like it was all gravy and cakes and puppies and kittens and shit. There were issues, but there was never a point where I questioned my safety. There was never a point where I was like, whoa, I don't know what this is or who this is, but it ain't, you know, who I've dealt with. Other than, you know, there just wasn't that situation. So that left like a major imprint on me in a way that was traumatic. Also, he tried to sue me in court, and that, you know, was another thing that was like, oh, you really, like, you trying it. He didn't win because he just didn't, but that in and of itself was like, okay, traumatic. And I'm saying all this because in a desire to still connect with the opposite sex, you know, I still dated. I still, you know, found myself in relationships, but I, you know, was never with anyone that was fully available to me. I never allowed myself to be vulnerable in the way that I was with him. I had never allowed myself to really feel the fullness of what I had gone through and heal from that until recently. And when I did, it's been like, well, damn, no wonder. And, you know, I'm always been a believer of the people in our lives are in our lives for a reason. A reason, season, or a lifetime. Sometimes that reason is to teach us something. Sometimes it's the season in our lives where we need support, or we need guidance, or we need something from them, or it's a lifetime. But I never have put like the full blame on someone else that I'm in relationship with, because that's just not the kind of person I am. I take ownership for my stuff, and I process and, you know, try to figure out what it was that I was to gain from those situations. But I recognize that the biggest thing was that I had not healed from this situation when I was 25. I had not let I didn't say things that needed to be said, because I was afraid that if I spoke up, that was going to make that person flip and shift and just become like the Incredible Hulk, like that person did when I was 25. So there would be times where I would know that I need to say something to express myself, not in a nagging way, but just to express how I was feeling about a situation or a circumstance, and I just didn't. I just dealt with it because I figured I can deal with me dealing with it versus not knowing how or in what way that person is going to receive what I have to say and react to what I had to say. So I kept myself small in situations where it was not healthy for me. Not that these were toxic situations, but they were definitely situations that I could have made better or could have been better had I spoken up for myself, which I now do with, you know, with a lot more ease than I did in the past. So I bring this up just to share and just to, you know, have you guys question yourselves and think about, you know, the kinds of relationships that you are in now, whether they're romantic, friendships, or familial, and what it is that you're really getting from them, what it is that you're really giving to them. Because, you know, if you aren't feeling peace, if you aren't feeling content, if you aren't feeling good, And I don't mean good all the time, because that's just not real. Like, you know, I'm not trying to say that you're just gonna feel like rainbows and shit all the time, because that's just like, we're people, we're human. Like, that's just not how things work. But if you find yourself not saying something because of a fear, investigate that, look at that, unpack that, because there could be something there from your past that you aren't that you haven't acknowledged, that maybe you think that you've dealt with, but you haven't acknowledged the nuances of, that you haven't acknowledged like the small intricate pieces and parts and of, in order to really heal in the way that you need to heal, and to really experience the kind of relationship that you really desire to experience. So sometimes it takes, you know, taking time away. I, for example, didn't go home for holidays for a long time. Sometimes it takes having a conversation. Sometimes it takes creating boundaries. But, you know, whatever it is that you need to do, the first step is being aware. Being aware, then taking the steps that you feel are necessary. Sorry about the background noise. Taking the steps that you feel are necessary to get to the next step, or to experience the kind of relationship that you truly want to experience. Because without that, you're just going to continue to repeat the cycle and be irritated and frustrated and not really know why. So, hope that was helpful, insightful. If you would like to talk about things, see, you know, about how I may be able to guide you to creating boundaries or to creating the relationships that you truly want to experience, let me know. Put a yes below, DM me, share this message, however. But, you know, don't stay stagnant, don't procrastinate, don't, you know, keep doing the same thing you've been doing expecting something different, because that shit ain't gonna work. So that's all for now. Toodles.